Welcome to Shit My Pastor Said, the podcast where we talk about all the shit those pastors have said. My name's Chris.
And I'm Dano. Hey, Chris, we got a big weekend.
Big weekend, but where are we? I think we're going to start. We're live from where?
Maybe my favorite spot on the planet, the deck of our childhood home, Carlton, Minnesota.
I'm looking at, no lie, about 2 trillion daisies in the field.
Very nice.
Have you ever got any action in that field? With not including your partner.
Self-sex? Oh.
Solo sex. Are you ready to put on the internet?
To this?
Mom might be able to hear us.
I've not self-sexed in the field. In the field.
Are you more... I'm a solo sex, not a self-sex.
We talked about this on an early episode. The way that I remember an associate pastor giving a sermon on this was self-sex.
It was solo sex.
I'll bet you $5.
I have Ben's number.
I'm not going to call Ben. Are you on good terms with Ben?
No.
I didn't think so. Let's call them up.
They were. This is actually really good because people who have had spiritual abuse and deconstructing, you had to leave friendships behind or family, and they were in town for a marathon, and we didn't hear from, which we shouldn't. I'm not angry they didn't reach out to me, but it was like one of those like, oh, the consequences of them breaking off relationship where it could have been a party and a celebration, and they didn't. It was just like you have to relive that grief over again.
Yeah.
But no, I mean I have no ill will towards them, but
yeah, I got some action in the field.
Yeah,
but moving on.
You got some solo sex. You got
Honestly,
some action in the field?
Huh?
In that field you did?
Yeah. And you know what? It was a particular summer. Most of it was just making out.
Hot boy summer.
No, it was it happened to be a summer that I took for granted because I thought it was going to happen every summer. The Northern Lights, like horizon to horizon, freaking out the whole time. I'm making out in the field. Deer are coming up to us and like sneezing, and then it spooks them. I'm not even exaggerating.
Deer walking up to you, and this is, excuse me.
This is the first time I've ever like kissed a girl, and I'm like 18, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm kissing a girl. There's Northern Lights freaking out. There's deer
sneezing on me.
Dude, it was magical.
Okay, what qualifies a deer sneezing? How close?
You know how
this?
they make just the.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I mean. I didn't say sneeze on me. They came up very close to us.
My favorite story is, well, 2 of them. Nikki and I spent like an entire day when I was 15, 16 years old laying in the field and making out, and then we spent the whole day in the field. Second favorite story was we lived at this house while we were not pregnant. We were moving. And we had to live here for 3 months. It was brutal. Don't ever move in with your parents, ever. And our parents went away. It was Mother's Day weekend. And our friends Wade and Lori came over here, and we got... this is great. We wanted to make limoncello because Katie brought limoncello to Under the Tusky. I'm like, we should do limoncello. We couldn't make it. So we just
takes
tried.
A while.
No, it wasn't limoncello. We used limoncello in... what's the drink you and I used
Margaritas?
to get? No. Were you the Four Horsemen? Long Island iced teas.
Okay, first of all, you and me is not the correct verbiage there. You.
No, you and I would
we
go
had
to
it one time.
Oh, way
you
more
did
than
it all the time. Anyways, doesn't matter.
No, I'm saying at the cabin we'd go. Anyways, and we didn't have one ingredient, so we used Katie's limoncello.
Yeah.
Not a good addition to a Long Island iced tea at all.
Really?
No. They were undrinkable.
That's a witch's brew.
So
because it does taste like lemonade, and it's just hard alcohol.
It was gross.
I'm surprised that limoncello wouldn't aid that.
Oh, so we just drank whatever else we had, and we got hammered, and we got pictures in the field with the flowers. Have you seen these before?
No.
Oh, dude, they are like awesome.
I believe it.
They're like grad photos drunk.
Dude, I once took mushrooms here when Mom and Dad were gone when I was like 20 with 3 or 4 of my buddies. And I've done mushrooms a handful of times. It's been a long time. But in all the times I've ever tried it, you sit around after like half an hour. You're like, your fucking brother ripped us off, dude. These aren't working. And then like an hour goes by and no one's talked and you're just staring at something collectively. And then you're like, somebody be like, I think they're working, man.
I apologize to your brother.
Dude, and then we put on I put on cross-country skis. They put on snowshoes, and one guy just ran through with thigh-high snow. But I just remember skiing on – it was like hard ice snow, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm skiing on top of the snow. Again, clear winter sky, having the time of my life. It was amazing. Magical.
I've never done – would you do shrooms again?
Yes, 100%.
I want to do it.
Yeah, we should.
Maybe the listeners who are listening to this, you can mail us some.
Mail some shrooms.
If
put a federal stamp on it.
Like and subscribe. Smash that like button and send shrooms.
All right, Chris. We're talking today about America's 250th birthday, 4th of July. At the time of this recording is 4 days away.
Mm-hmm. 5 days away from 5th of July.
That's right. 5th of July. That's another episode.
We have to get my kid in on that.
Yes. So what today we're just going to talk about what it means to, we're going to talk about Christians, especially conservative Christians' perspective on what it means to be patriotic, what it means to be a Christian in America or in a nation in general, but even just as people that are trying to live, love-forward lives.
I like that, love-forward lives.
What it means to, be proud of America, be happy about it, be excited about it, and all the issues there.
That'd be like, how do we feel about 4th of July? Yeah, because we are love-forward life people. It's complicated because I don't know if we said this on a previous podcast, but you and I talked about, like, I saw a tweet someone said, like, fuck this, 250 of our country should be an absolute throwdown party for everybody. And because of our president and the administration, it feels like complicated. Because to say, like, if I put a flag outside my house, I'm communicating something that I don't know if I want to communicate. But I have no problem communicating that I do love our country, and I do. But even saying that feels like I shouldn't say it, right? Yeah. So it feels like someone co-opted all of this, where language that should be like I'm excited watching soccer tonight. Mm-hmm. And I love our country's soccer team. Mm-hmm. Just met them like 2 weeks ago. Right. But it feels out of bounds to even say that. So we're going to be talking about, like, the feelings, the complication, if there's a path forward to hang a flag. Yeah. Do you remember, since we're here, do you remember when Denny?
Yes, I do. I was going to bring this up.
Bring it up.
We're going to be quiet because he might sneak up on us here.
No, he's at LNA.
Never struck me, my father, as being overly patriotic. I think he was patriotic, but not like, he never sat us down and told us the importance of being an American. Never. And then as adults, a few years ago, all of a sudden on Flag Day.
Yeah, my anniversary.
Which is September 20th?
June 14th.
That makes more sense.
That's Cole's birthday.
Okay, I knew it was an important
Holy
day.
Buckets.
He texts a picture of a flag hanging on the garage I'm now looking at to me and my brother and our 3 sisters, saying, I hope you guys all remember what today's all about. We're like, what in the fuck are you talking about?
It was one of those, like, and it was more than a couple years ago, because the garage was a different color. Okay. But it felt like, where is this coming from?
Like, is Dad on mushrooms?
Or is Dad all of a sudden really conservative, which he's never been?
That's true.
Then we had a conversation of, like, well, maybe some of Dad's other influences in life have contributed to him doing that. And I'm like, our dad just fucking loves Flag Day, and he never told us.
I have no idea.
And is it bad that he would want to celebrate Flag
Not at
Day?
all. It wasn't even. It struck me as just like, where is this coming from? Exactly. Who gives a shit about Flag Day? Enough to text. First of all,
yes,
our dad doesn't often text the group and being like, "Hey, I'm thinking about this with you guys."
It's usually like, "Where's my black belt?"
And it's especially never like, "Hey, remember, let's all collectively remember this important thing." Like, that's not a thing. So for suddenly on a random June day to be like, "What?"
It's not a random June day, but he texted on Flag Day.
But it would make more sense if it was the 4th of July, maybe, or something.
Well, it's a
I know,
day. Flag Day is a day.
I know it's a day. It's anyways hilarious.
But it captures it because you and I had, like, what the fuck, and we shouldn't have to feel that way.
Sure.
Right? Because of what the flag has become, it becomes something bigger or different than what we wanted it to be. And we're not the only ones who feel this way.
I think it's, yes, you're right. I think even that statement, I think, is people that I've read say it's always been this way. I think you'd agree.
What has?
Like the flag wasn't co-opted by Trump or whoever. It's always been problematic because it's always only meant violence and imperialism.
Yes.
You know, so like it's always been complicated.
Good point.
If you dig just a layer below the surface.
Yes.
Obviously, we both agree, but it's just like
that's a good point.
I think we all have to come to wrestle with this of like, well, this is exactly what we're talking about. Like, well, this country did carve out, quote unquote, a way in the wilderness. Well, what does that mean? It means murdered and took over Native Americans' land and lives.
Manifest destiny.
Yeah.
Did you ever read Diana Oestreich's book, Waging Peace?
I haven't.
If you haven't, it is a great book on this subject.
I've heard
of loving your country. She is a wartime veteran, and it's a great story. But like she's talked about this of like, what does the flag mean historically, and what does the flag mean to me as a veteran, and what does it mean to me as a woman, as someone who is a nonviolent response person. It's fucking messy and complicated.
Yeah, I read the was it Frederick Douglass, the what does the 4th of July mean to the slave?
I have not read that.
Oh, it's intense. I mean, just even the title alone is
like,
oh yeah, what might a slave feel about the flag in, you know, the time of slavery, and what does multiple different members of community, how do they relate? How does a Native American relate to like the 4th of July? I'm sure it's very different than our father or us or whoever. But.
Very. So my question then is, how do we make sense, or that's the wrong word, how do we move forward in 4 or 5 days? We're going to be in, where do we go for it? We go to Chautauqua, Wisconsin's parade, which is, we stand on the corner and we
It is like going to a parade when I was 7 years old. Nothing has changed.
It is.
They're whipping candy at all the kids. There's no like, stay on the side and we'll hand it to you.
Yeah, kids are out in the middle of the road, but there's always, you know what I'm going to say, there's the police officer and there's like the police officer's friend.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're really friends, but they act like they're the police officer. I will listen to police officer when that person's like, you need to back up. I'm like, don't tell me what to do as a grown-ass man.
Don't tread on me.
We should stand in the middle of the road and not move.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Tackle me.
Dan, are you recording this? This is for the podcast.
It's a crazy. I think this year is going to be bananas.
It's going, like, I imagine we're going to talk about this. Like, what do we do? How do we respond? Because you and I both, I don't, this might be a shock to people, but we are opinionated people. We might be assholes. I won't be drinking at the time. You put booze in there, I might get a little loose lips. But seriously, like, as we are approaching this day, like, how do we move forward? How do we be honest to who we are, to the country we're in, but also be respectful to the feelings? Because it feels like other people aren't respectful or cognizant of what is happening. They don't even care. Like more conservative, mega-focused people.
Yeah.
Like, do we match their energy? Do we blend in? Do we stand
I think
out?
it's kind of, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. Like, I can engage in the fun times of a holiday weekend, have a blast, have a beer in the middle of the street at 1 p.m. in Chautauqua, have like World War II planes going over. Like, you know, there's fun times to be had on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
But I think it does, for me, take a little bit of suspension of belief or whatever, you know, suspension of what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I can't think too much about it because I still think it's problem. I don't know. I'm jumbling my words together because this is complicated. Because here's what I'm embarrassed at this country, certainly right now.
Yeah.
I do think that there's so many things to not be pumped about this country about in history. So, like, am I patriotic? I don't know. I'm happy that I live here because it's relatively safe for me and for my family. But I'm also aware that it's not overly safe for people in my community. I mean, we're in Carlton, Minnesota. We grew up next to a Native American reservation that we barely talked about or thought about.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's capitalism means that I have a job and a 401k right now, and that's nice. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things that, like, there's a privilege to be had about living in this country right now, but there's also just like a lot, like people in Chautauqua or people in our family that I won't say their names, but like are kind of, or even I've talked to people that are surprised when you mention like, what do you mean? Like, there's problems with our country's past. God. And just like, how can you be so white privileged where you haven't even considered the past of this country?
Yes.
And the fact that, this is what makes it easier for me to just like be pissed about it, is that this current administration is truly erasing like the hard things about this country, instead of saying like, this happened, let's face it, let's come to terms with it, and then let's move forward somehow, knowing that we did fucked up things.
So do you see a scenario where you could say that you're patriotic?
Yeah, I think so.
But how does that make you feel? Even considering, do you have like positive emotions, negative emotions?
I would love to be proud of where our country is, and I'm not.
I agree.
I think there's certain countries that are like, you know, like Germany after World War II had to do a lot. I don't know shit about this subject.
Smash that like
no,
button.
But I mean, I remember. Okay, it's the World Cup. I remember my friend Ben lived in Germany during the 2010 World Cup. I think it was 2010. Doesn't matter. Where they did very good, and he said that it was interesting. He was like 20-something. It was interesting being in Germany when the German national team was doing so well. I think they got to the semifinals. It was the first time that generation, or any generation, were allowed to feel proud to be German, because their grandparents went through like the Cold War stuff, and then their parents and their grandparents lived through Nazi Germany. Yeah. So like, you could not be proud to be German, especially open. This is what he said. Who knows? He's an American kid from Cloquet, but I thought that was fascinating. Yeah. And so like, but Germany had to do some hard work to be like, we can't just move on. Yes. So how do we move forward knowing that we were Nazis? Yeah. And I think that's like something America has never done, ever once, where we've had a recognition, a repentance, and a recognition of the horrible things we did, and then reshaping ourselves with that knowledge and humility.
That's really good. I'm trying to think of a time.
We scratched the surface post-Civil War. We put a couple of amendments in there that people are vehemently, even this week, trying to take away. Truly,
good call back. Yeah,
birthright citizenship is about slavery, and yet we didn't go hard enough against the South in Reconstruction.
No,
and they still have fucking Confederate flags.
I saw a Confederate flag up in Two Harbors the other day.
That's what I'm just like.
It's my grandfather's. Like, fuck you.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't do that with slavery. We didn't do that with Civil War, civil rights.
It's because I would say that I am patriotic, but it's like a muted patriotic. So it's like, can we be proud of something? And we're gonna get into the shit my pastor said element in a bit. But it feels like out of bounds to be patriotic, even though I do love where I live. I'm not proud of it, but it's the idea. Like parenting. I am not the perfect parent. I've done a lot of hurtful, harmful things to my kids. I've brought trauma to my children. Not intentionally, but I've had. Does that mean my kids can't be proud to be, can I be proud to be their father, and can they be proud to be my kid? And I hope they'd say yes. I can say yes.
I think, though, you've done what I just said. You've done the hard work of recognizing.
No, I agree, but
because I have a person in my life that had a horrible dad, and I don't know if she would say, I'm proud to be his daughter.
Exactly. So, like, is it a universal thing? If you're a progressive, do you have to have a complicated feeling about being patriotic? Or can you be patriotic and say I love this country and know that we have some horrible shit that we have done, even worse things we've done in the past, but not because I feel like we're letting. I hate using this language. I feel like there is a minority group of people who are the loudest, who make it. This is how it has to be. The Christian nationalists are those people to me.
Yeah,
MAGA Republicans, Christian nationalism, saying if you love America, this is how it has to be, and that's where I'm like, fuck no.
Right, I agree.
But it feels like they're setting the pace, and like I don't want to be with it, so therefore I'm not patriotic.
And, yeah, totally. And what does America mean?
Exactly.
To be proud of.
So like everyone, I don't know if we talk about it, but like Dano has the World Cup on right now. I am a bandwagon World Cup fan, and it's fun. I wish I was more bandwagon because it is a lot of fun.
It is fun.
But like all the Twitter accounts or social media accounts of people not from America who are here, and I'm like, you get free chips at Mexican restaurants, you get free refills, and they're like, this is the fucking best. And it feels like, oh, am I missing out? Like, or not missing out. Do I have the wrong narrative about our country? That other people can love it. I feel like I'm embarrassed by it mostly, but I do love it.
In that example, I go the other way of like, they're coming here to like, holy shit, can you believe that poutine is the thing in Canada? Or like there are gas stations that are 40 acres big and they serve nachos.
They have like 5 restaurants. Yeah.
But they have college and healthcare back in Scotland.
Yes.
That's where I'm just like, Norway, I don't know. Like socialism or, social, whatever they're called. Those are the countries that I'm like, man, it would be. But those are exactly the things that some conservatives would be like, we don't want universal health care because we're American.
Isn't that
wild? I can't fathom that.
So this will take us into the Christian nationalism part of people have a hard time. That's an understatement. People do not see how capitalism fuels everything that we do with the republic, democracy, our government, everything. Because people say, well, we can't have universal health care, and they bring up like long lines. You die of a heart attack because you can't get
doctors
surgery.
Will leave.
God damn.
The doctors one is so
It's
funny.
so great. Or the one, though, like people I've literally seen online people like, oh, I heard my cousin told me who was a friend in Canada that died waiting for a surgery.
Yeah.
In America, they could have got it in 2 days. I'm like,
which isn't even true.
Well, you could have, but then you'd be bankrupt for the rest of your life. And it's not true about dying and waiting lines.
Oh no, yeah. I'm always just shocked that people that have this belief, have they ever been to the doctor before? Like one time you'd be like, as an adult, when you're 25 years old and you no longer have insurance with your parents, you're like, oh shit, this is a messed up. And especially if you get really hurt or if you have a kid, it's so expensive.
It's so expensive.
They fight you on every little detail. I got punched in college in the face, brutally. Where a guy held my face up against a brick wall and punched me for a second time. And I had to go to the emergency room. I remember Dad showed me the itemized bill that he got. And the gas was like $10 a gallon because they upsell everything or upcharge everything.
Oh, for the ambulance.
Yeah, because they're billing insurance knowing that they're only going to get 20% or whatever it is back from the insurance. So they make everything expensive.
Yeah.
And the morphine that I got was the cheapest thing on there.
Interesting.
It was crazy. Anyways,
I don't remember how. Oh, people arguing about healthcare. I'd say those people who argue against it. Well, God, I've even seen people who are on Medicaid or Medicare and still complaining about it. I'm like, you're not even paying for a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Ugh. But let's get to the Christian nationalism.
Well, you know what? This is a good transition because Christians that believe in Christian nationalism, just to generalize, it's all about individual advancement.
Yes.
And so they don't give a shit. Like, I want to pay so that everyone is healthier.
Yes.
Because that brings us all up, whatever. And I think that's like that individual evangelical mindset is what really...
But evangelicalism is so egocentric. Like the church it's all about don't join Christianity, come join our church.
Yeah.
Right? It's about my personal relationship with Jesus. I have my personal devotions. God speaks to me for you. God speaks to us for oppressed people.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't say the name, but like in the church that a church that you and I visited a couple times. We were there, and someone was playing some music, and about once a year they'd start crying and beg for repentance of the way white people have treated people at Fond du Lac, Native American, the reservation. And it's like, oh, I recognize I feel guilty, and me offering up an atonement for this 2 minutes and publicly cry white tears for everyone, I bet that made that person feel pretty fucking good.
Yeah. What do you remember, just shit my pastor said, like, what do you remember pastors saying about anything on this topic?
Yeah. So it was always like America is founded by God. God inspired the Constitution. God inspired, I can think of my undergrad in the Bible college, people saying it's the greatest country in the world. God ordained it. God willed it. It was a lot of God's hand has been over our country, and homosexuality or any other big problem, sin, was like, we don't want God to remove his hand. And I still remember being a teenager, like, is God that temperamental where God can, how long can you go before God would take the hand off?
And what is the hand doing?
It benefits the church and us individually. Yes.
Right. But that's just me. Yeah, again, that's just so white privilege, because it's like, well, who is this benefiting?
It's a white, egocentric Bible. Yes, 100%.
I don't remember, earlier in life, besides just the American flag being in the corner. I remember, in hindsight, at one point...
How wild is it that churches have flags in their church?
I totally agree. We're going to get into it in a second.
Okay.
But I do remember having a moment of, this was after the fact. I was way out of high school, but, saying the Pledge of Allegiance is kind of messed up.
Super.
Especially, I would argue, from
in school or in church?
Well, and either.
Did you? I missed. Did you say that you said?
No, we
in
didn't
church?
do it in church.
No,
we might have, but I don't remember.
But saying in school is
just the act of making kids pledge allegiance is,
or in Texas, making them read the Bible as curriculum.
That's so crazy, dude. Mm-hmm. Even just the fight to have the 10 Commandments up. It's just what is this doing?
The Bible itself speaks against it. Jesus speaks against it specifically. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, right? Who the fuck cares? Do the government do the... That's where Christian nationalism
is where it gets
off
into
the rails.
Yeah.
Is God has ordained this country. They believe God has ordained borders.
Yeah.
Borders are fucking made up.
Yeah, I just heard a mega pastor talk about...
Lead us on this.
Well, so basically Christian nationalism, you could say, started, as far as America is concerned, during the Revolutionary War, with pastors taking up the prophetic narrative of, just like Israel was, in Babylon or wherever, and then Moses carried them out through the Red Sea. That's what we are here. We are under the tyranny and oppression of England, but God has put us out. He's going to draw us away from tyranny into freedom, and then America is ours to just expand into.
Yeah.
But today, people say, so that's messed up. But I can understand, at least I can understand, in a wartime.
Are you, I'm sorry, lost. Are you saying in revolutionary that was okay? Or Christian nationalism, God is leading us away and God wants us to have our own government?
They're saying we are like the Israelites and King George is like Pharaoh.
Got you.
Yeah.
So at the time, they were using that example. Okay, got you.
Saying and they're keeping it all vague, but we need to take up arms against Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Because this is our freedom,
yeah,
and this is our land.
God is leading us out of the land.
Yeah, and it's not a like-for-like prophecy, because it's Red Sea, red coats.
Dude, when's the last time you've been to Boston, did the Freedom Trail?
Since I was 10.
I did it just a couple months ago. It's in-fucking-sane.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I played Assassin's Creed 3. That I actually...
Same thing.
I learned a lot.
Dude, it's just seeing the small little church where they did that
stuff
shit.
Is wild.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. But now I just listened to a podcast where 4 mega church pastors, all Baptist, I believe, 20, 30, 40,000 people in their churches.
Oh my God.
Insanity.
Each or total?
The one guy had upwards of 20, but estimated more.
What would you
multi-site,
But even what would you do? 20,000 people?
You'd make money.
But what would you? How do you spend all that money? Our church budget is
you buy land
I mean, I was being facetious. I
No,
know
I
what
know.
they do, but like that is
That's so much money.
so much responsibility of people's money they're giving to whatever they believe God is.
Yeah.
Oh,
And this is what I haven't listened to a sermon or anything like this in a long time because I can't edge on rage bait like I used to be able to. It's not healthy for me. So I'm listening to these guys, and on the one hand, they keep it very light. And I imagine this is how their sermons are. It's just like, what's the problem? We're having fun. Hey.
my shoes cost $10,000.
Yeah, but then like you can tell there's a seething anger for
yes.
liberals right under the surface.
Oh God, yes.
But then they just sugarcoat stuff. So I can understand people being like, we're having fun here. This is like nice big church. And I think if they just keep that gravy train going, and that's what they do. Anyways, they talked about how at its heart, Christian nationalism, first of all, they started the thing. It was like, let's talk about what Christian nationalism isn't. And they played a clip by an African-American pastor who said it's problematic for America and Christianity to be like seen as one thing, which I would agree with this guy.
Yes.
Like, that's crazy because then whatever America does, that means Christianity is blessing, which is very problematic.
Very problematic.
And he also said,
And this is the black pastor.
yes,
who said
this is the
Okay.
black pastor that's saying this, that they're going to instantly dunk on.
Yeah.
And they even said that preemptively, like, we're not trying to make fun of this guy. Let's take a look.
This fucking idiot.
Dude. And then the second thing he said was, you can't have your idol in the same room as like something you love.
Yes.
So they just blasted this guy, huge tones of racism, just like, this guy is not intelligent. You can tell by the way he talks about any of this stuff. So instantly just like, oh boy, here we go. But then they just talked about how at the core of it, they're like, we're not Christian nationalists in the way that he would say that we are, but isn't it the Great Commission? Isn't it our duty and want to make everyone a Christian in the country that we're at? And so I don't understand what he's saying. I think like one of the questions that came up, as a Christian in their terms, that is true for them. They do want the country to be all Christians. That's
Yes.
their goal of being a Christian.
That's how they
is
interpret
to
the
go out into the world.
Great Commission.
The Great Commission
Mhm.
to make disciples. And so like it was tough to argue with them on its face of like, oh, I guess like that's a tricky theological thing that I want to hear your take on.
On that?
Yeah.
About wanting to get everyone in the country. Is the Great Commission a mandate to evangelize every single person into Christianity?
Isn't I would say that is on their terms. I don't think
On their
I don't give a
terms.
shit about this now.
Well, I think you should.
But I mean, even as like a liberal-ish Christian, like I used to identify heavily as,
I'd say even now you should care about it. I think you would agree with what I'm going to say. So, to me, the Great Commission, if you look at what Jesus did and said, right? Of Jesus never tried building a church, he never tried building a community that just followed him. People followed him. Jesus ran away from it. Jesus moved away. He'd speak. He even, like, when he healed the blind man, he says, don't tell anybody, right? And there's a lot of different ways to interpret that. I'd say what Jesus is trying to do is start a revolution that was, let's take care of each other.
yeah,
Not follow me. Let's move in the way of love, right? The meek shall inherit the kingdom of God. So, the Great Commission of Jesus saying, the way that people wrote about Jesus is very problematic. Because, anyways, let's just take it at face value. What Jesus to me is saying, go into all the earth and baptize people in the name of Father, Son, Holy Spirit, is just a way of like, do what I've done. Feed people, take care of the sick, include people. So I think with the Great Commission, what Jesus is inviting people to do depends on how you think about it now. If your interpretation is Jesus saying go into all the world,
it doesn't say go into every nation.
It doesn't
which
say
is
every
important to
nation.
them.
Yes, it says every nation, but anyways, it's the same thing. But it bothers me because of how they define what nations should get the gospel and what does it mean to have the gospel. It means we need to have power over you, assimilate into. Do you remember someone we both knew that hated the word assimilation?
No, I don't remember. I remember that was part of my title.
Yes, because they're like, oh, it's too much like we're trying to deprogram people and then reprogram people, because in Star Trek, assimilating people was the Borg. Yeah. But it makes it. But so I agreed with them at the time. But now where I'm at, I haven't thought about it until now. They didn't like it because they're saying, well, it's too like we're deprogramming and reprogramming. But we want people to vote like this. We want people to have these cultural battles like we do. We want people to believe that being queer is evil. I'm like, you were saying the same fucking thing.
Right.
You just don't like. You don't like the context. You don't like the not the context. You don't like the what the word communicates. So back to the Great Commission. They believe that everyone has to get saved, which being saved means you confess Jesus as Lord. And by confessing Jesus as Lord, we have a common enemy, and the enemy is Satan.
Mm-hmm.
And who is Satan influencing? It's the quote-unquote the world. Who do we get to say the world is? Whoever the fuck we want.
Right, exactly.
Anyone who in our church is maybe the woman's being showing a little too much leadership, that's the world. Right? Someone's acting a little, this boy's acting a little too feminine, that's the world.
Yeah.
The gay agenda is programming them to do that. So when they say we have to get everyone evangelized, it's this idea of we have power. It's the same thing that they despise about Islam, which to me is a misinterpretation of what Islam is.
Yeah.
Of like, they're going to go in, they're going to behead you if you don't believe. They're going to like force you in. I'm like, you would do the same fucking thing if you had the same power.
Yeah, these guys talked about that, like how we like which God are we talking about when we say that God?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, if it's the God of Islam, then this is going to happen. And they brought up Hinduism. They're like, certain sects of Hinduism.
God, these are the best.
Well, then the things that they never talked about is like, well, you could take hugely dangerous things from the Old Testament and say like, well, aren't we supposed to do this now?
It's more. There's genocide that God acted.
But
in
I honestly
genocide.
think they would just say like, well, yeah, we probably should.
They would. Because it's their truth.
The funny thing about these guys was they would say like, oh, so this pastor doesn't think like, or like being Christian or an American is bad. Hey, guess who led the movement to end slavery? Christians.
Yeah.
Guess who was a huge Christian that was the spearhead of civil rights? Martin Luther King Jr. He was a pastor. And it's like, so were the slave owners. So were the fucking, there was many, all of them were Christians that led, that wanted to keep the South in the civil rights movement.
It's the thing that, without saying names, the people who've historically bothered the fuck out of us is they cherry pick their stances. And you're like, if you believe that, then why don't you believe these three things? They're like, well, because that's wrong. You're like, it's the same thing. Oh, it's so...
Like, Islam is a religion of war and murder.
God.
It's like, so is Christianity.
Do you know what... just a quick...
And I'm not saying Islam is, for the record.
No, yeah, I know. But, like, we had in seminary, in our... I don't remember what class it in, but there was someone who came in who was practicing Islam, and they spoke about this. And they said, it is in our Quran... in our Holy Scripture, that we cannot force anyone to be a part of a religion. They will defend other people's religion because they believe in the freedom of religion.
Right.
They believe in the freedom. If we go into this land, for whatever reason, they kept all the Christian churches that are still there in the Middle East.
Yeah. I've been to Christian churches in the Middle East.
I think it's badass, man.
It's
like
crazy. Turkey was nuts.
Turkey and Christianity is like the hotbed of where Christianity started. Okay, back
I
to
did have
Christian
goosebumps. I stood in an amphitheater. It might have been Ephesus. It was like Paul was in this spot preaching to people. It was crazy.
The relics that are in Turkey are just insane.
You know who's from Turkey? A little boy named Santa Claus.
Those secret tapes are still out there somewhere. Okay, so back, if they're, what else did they say in this podcast?
I was surprised at how often they brought up the importance of nation and how much they use Scripture. Before I get to that, one thing that they talk about was also Christian. They dunked on Brian Zahn out of nowhere, just shots fired.
Really?
Yeah.
They're
like, oh, so some liberal. They don't even read the Bible. They read half a paragraph from a blog post by Zahn, and they think they know blah blah. I'm just like, oh my god,
Postcards from Babylon is a
upset.
great book of his.
Yeah, I mean, I've read some things.
Oh, dude, it's very good.
But the question of should Christians get involved in government? And they immediately brought back, well, let's see what books of the Bible that Christian leaders got involved in the government. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, Joseph, in the Old Testament. Like, all these. I did think that, like, in classic fashion, that sounds so, from a Christian perspective, that sounds so true to their audience that they're like, well, how do I argue against that? They did briefly say like, okay, another objection would be like, well, that's only Old Testament. I don't think these pastors in general do enough work on the relationship in the Old Testament than the New Testament. That's another podcast.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they don't do enough work. They take Jesus. We've heard Rich Nathan do this.
No, I know. I think it's like
Jesus,
it's all
and they go back and say
loosey-goosey with all of it.
It's not just loosey-goosey. They choose to have a hermeneutic of the Old Testament is speaking to Jesus. And so you go back and reinterpret everything through the lens of Jesus, which is bullshit.
Yeah. And they did that here. Like, well, what about Jesus? And this is where the nation things comes up.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Jesus didn't tell people to go get involved in government. Jesus said the opposite. Don't get involved in government.
The guys in the podcast said this?
Yeah. Well, they said that this is an argument people have against their position.
Gotcha.
Like, liberals might say this, that Jesus never did that.
Yeah.
And they said, like, Jesus told us to go to the nations. Jesus, and they jump to Paul as fast as they possibly can.
As you can, yes.
Paul literally was the roots of, Paul said, like, I need to get a audience with Caesar or whatever. Like, Paul eventually led to the Roman Empire in Constantine becoming a Christian. Jesus wants people to become Christians. People make up nations. Nations rule the world. I was like, holy shit. Like, these guys have it all figured out. And it's hard to, it's not hard. I could understand why there are hundreds of thousands of people that listen to this podcast eat that shit up.
Oh,
no question.
That's why there's
because it sounds so true to them.
Millions and millions and millions of evangelicals who loved it because it makes them feel good.
Dude, when I was listening to this, I was thinking we're fucked. Like it really was scary. It was scary because like it's a like the G.K. Chesterton thing. It's a closed loop of insanity.
It is.
Every answer, everything is all a part of. Like you have an answer for every little thing.
It's like our own conspiracy theory.
Yeah, like I'm the Queen of England. You can't argue with that person.
Can't,
because they have every answer.
And they don't. They will work irrationally hard to not be wrong, and as if being wrong. The Bible contradicts itself dozens of times.
Yeah,
because the point isn't about being right. It's about learn. The way the Old Testament was written was let's put all these stories together so we don't repeat the same fucking things that happened to us.
One thing they kept saying was, you can have, there's three forms of government, maybe like tribalism, globalism, and then whatever we're trying to be.
Republic?
Probably, yeah. And it's like, well, tribalism is just, and they used racist language of like, people in third world countries, like, we're not going to be that. And globalism is what Satan wants, which is...
and those are the only options.
And they truly said, like, Satan wants destruction, and that's what's going to happen. And they also said, and people are going to ask us, do we want a state church? Which is like, chum to sharks as far as conservative audiences. Like, no, the state is not going to have a state church because they said, without Jesus, the government would rape us, kill us, take our rights, and drive everything to the ground. And then they always let little things slip through, like the government without a God is going to want more regulation. They're going to want socialized health care. Yeah. They're going to want a distribution of rights and money and wealth and resources. And that is not the God that we see in the Bible. Like, oh my God!
I've heard conservative evangelicals on podcasts and media argue for the idea of why God would hate socialized healthcare. So one guy's like, all these socialists coming in and do healthcare. I can't do anything. They're going to bring this country back to hell except rent freeze. I'm thankful for that because I wouldn't be able to afford rent without it. But everything else can go to hell. It's like, until it benefits you.
Yeah.
So socialism, even that idea of they're afraid of, but they still want to have household votes.
Right.
That's the government saying, we are saying only this demographic of people gets to have power and authority because everyone else is too dumb to really have a critical thought.
Yeah, my God.
Or it's evil, or women are too influenced by the world to be able to make a decision.
Yeah. And this is the things they said, like, they kept making the straw horse of like, if you're not a Christian nationalist or patriotic and a Christian, then you're saying that we should just hate our country. Yeah. And it's like, no. And they kept saying like, I love my wife. Does that mean I hate all other women? Mm-hmm. No, you should be able to believe that your country is the best. Everybody in the Olympics and the World Cup, this is what they said, don't they all think that their country's the best? And I'm sitting there like, no. And
Yeah.
they said, like, shouldn't you think rightly that your wife is the hottest wife? And even then I was like, no, I love my wife. I think she's beautiful. I desire her. Like, I'm attracted to her physically. I think she's the best. That goes against the language I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'll say that, but I'm well aware that I'm not the most attractive husband, to put it on myself, and I'm okay with
that. Even that argument doesn't work because it's not a side-by-side comparison to a country which borders are just made up.
But they said that they use some verse that God ordained the nations.
That's Romans, right? It's like
I don't know if I've ever caught that verse before.
They say God has put in all the leaders in place.
Yeah, I know that.
Right? And then God has established the borders. But
that to me is like the golden nugget for them.
So they should be
like everything they say is right in their mind.
But if they believe that, then they should be on the plane to Ukraine to be fighting against Russia, because Russia, it took away the borders. God established those borders.
And that's where it immediately falls down.
It's bullshit.
And like, okay, did God put Adolf Hitler in place?
Well, that's the classic argument. You could even go down the line from that of saying, well, then what about these judges? What about Biden? What about the judges that Biden in place? They're saying, well, it's just a Biden judge. It's like, well, when does God's God's hand lift or come on? It's always when it benefits you, it's God's will. And if it doesn't, this is the bullshit of Christian nationalism, because it's just their version of politics and what they like about the Bible that benefits them. They marry them together and then say, holy fuck, we're the best.
Yeah. And they say things like, isn't our God the best? They obviously believe that. And isn't God Lord over all these things? So if God is Lord over our family, which we believe they are, this is their words, isn't God also the Lord over our schools?
Yeah.
Over our government? And shouldn't we then try to be the light? And they kept using salt. Mm-hmm. You don't keep salt in a jar. You sprinkle it out there, which means our schools, which means our government. And they just went down the line of like why they are the most hardcore Christian nationalists ever. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was scared, because I'm like, they said like, last time we talked about this a year ago, 500,000 people watched the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is scary as fuck to me.
It is and it isn't. Yes, it is scary, but they can only have so much power, because we know some people who are into, like, let's have 17 kids, trad wife, all that stuff. That can only go so far. Like, I'm not against homeschooling, but I kind of am, all right? Like, I drove by, you know how schools have, like, seniors that graduated, like, Carleton Senior. I drove by one and said, homeschool graduate. Yeah. Like, is that a joke?
Congrats, Jezekiah.
And I'm really not against it completely. But it's the same thing as a flag. It's been co-opted of saying we have to protect our kids from the evilness of public high school. So this is our way of serving God. Instead of like, you just made a choice.
So it all comes down to morality, right?
100%.
Because that is the benchmark of if God's way is happening. Mm-hmm. Is if you are not a Christian if you're sleeping with your girlfriend, much less sleeping with your boyfriend, etc. Like, you're not a, and they brought up like the laws of the land with morality. Like, you can't say that coveting you can't make a law against coveting your neighbor's stuff, because you don't know what's in the heart of a man.
Yeah.
But you can make a law of you can't steal your neighbor's stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. And then they said you can't make a law against lust, but you can make a law against adultery.
Yeah.
Which isn't a law currently, but they make a strong
point. They would
point.
want it to, yeah.
And they're like, yeah, it should be.
It's the Mere Christianity. C.S. Lewis talks about this.
He does, and they brought that up.
Mm-hmm. It's like, is man in and of are humans in and of themselves moral? And if I remember correctly, C.S. Lewis says no, that we need God to guide the morals, and if you don't have God to know what's right or wrong, then we would just murder everyone whenever we want.
And that is the heart of their argument.
It is, and it's bullshit.
And then they can immediately tie that to the Founding Fathers. Mm-hmm. The Constitution is downstream of the Bible.
Yes.
That's what they said.
And it's not.
And it's like, but that's like airtight for them. And again, I keep saying it, but that's what's scary. Yes. It's because it's not some vague thing of like, well, Paul said this, and the Old Testament has some. It's like airtight, matter of fact, we're done.
Yes. So what?
And Brian Zahn's an idiot, and Greg Boyd doesn't know what he's talking. Like,
they bring up Greg?
They didn't. They might. I still have an hour and a half
Greg.
left. But I imagine if they're bringing up Brian Zahn, you got to bring up Greg Boyd.
No,
Zahn is more out there as far as social media, I think.
Yeah, and
I don't know shit about Brian Zahn.
We can talk about it later.
Oh.
But the what did you just say? The morality and
the Constitution is downstream from the Bible.
The Bible, and we need if we don't have that, then we're just going to murder each other. So again, the minority. That's where I was getting. I don't think it will work because this group of people is incredibly loud right now, right? But they are by far the minority. So they got abortion, Roe versus Wade, repealed. Not because it was a majority opinion. It was a minority opinion that got enough justices on to reverse it. But in every state that has gone to vote on it, overwhelmingly they kept abortion, right? That's what gives me hope is...
Yeah, I agree.
They're loud because they have no other choice. They're dying. Evangelicalism is dying.
It's dying, but it's still 20,000 people go to this guy's church every Sunday.
I agree with you. In certain parts, it is very culturally, quote-unquote, relevant, and it's loud because they have to be loud. The majority of people, I still believe, want to have like open conversations. They could be spiritual, like us. I'm a Christian, and I am complicated, but I like being a Christian. But I don't give a fuck what else other people believe. I want to move in a place of love. I'd still say that's the majority of people. That's what gives me hope, is these people are loud. And I'm going to do what I can to push back against them, but I'm not giving them a lot of energy.
And they would say that you are not loving your neighbor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of morality. You can't just bless something that somebody's doing.
And so my argument
you're
against,
not loving them.
My argument against that, Dano, is then you should be every waking second, every day, your kids every day at school should be, what do you call it, proselytizing. You should be.
That's exactly right. And I remember asking
every moment, and
the
they
pastor
don't.
you worked for, I'm like, well, if we really take this all the way,
yes,
shouldn't we just be constantly if it really is about heaven or hell, shouldn't we?
Exactly. And
he would say yes, but not mean it.
He would say, well, but that won't win, because then we're going to look foolish. And
really? Is that what he said?
Of course that's what they'd say. He never said it that succinctly, but it was like, well, hey, we have to use wisdom. I'm like, you're embarrassed.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't you, like John Wimber's like, I'm going to pray for, what did he say, 100 people every day? And he did it like weeks before one person got healed. You should be doing at the morgue or at the hospital. Every Christian should be in ambulances.
100%. That's exactly what they don't. But they don't.
They don't believe it because they want the benefit of being in this country or in Carlton, Minnesota, wherever it is, and still blend in and get all the benefits of America and having choice and having options and capitalism. They don't really believe it.
It's like Schindler, like
yes,
like with this ring could have been 3 more people.
So that's why I can respect people. I can get their crazy of like, I have to pray for every person, because I'm like, at least you're playing it straight.
Yeah,
I agree. Believe it or
even
don't.
like the crazy guy on the street preaching.
Yep.
I know I'm under the. I get it. This guy is probably not safe.
Yep.
But I kind of respect it because at least you're going batshit all out for it.
Yes.
So if you're not willing to go batshit all out for it, to me, it's kind of bullshit.
You're
make a church pastor that's making $200,000 a year
more
with a private jet.
Yes.
I have an account on Blue Sky that I follow that tracks pastors' jets.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
No, thank you.
But I don't know. I think people stay in those churches because it's just it's a pleasant time.
I have someone in my life who came to our church when we first planted and volunteered and did all that stuff. And it was a joke that they'd come up to me every Sunday and be like, I'm hanging on by a thread, right? And then left as they should have, left the faith. 100% they should have. And we're still friends. We still connect. And when I asked him, I'm like, well, then why? He's like, because I was new to town and I needed to make friends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, that's what church should be. It should be like a bowling league. It should be like the DFL voting crew, whatever it might be. Like, have a place where we can come and we can talk about morality, sure. But we're just talking about how do we be good humans, make friends, so we can do good in the world.
And truly, like, how's your wheat crop going this year? You know what I'm saying? like
who says that?
I'm saying like churches that built America, quote unquote. Like farmers just coming together and being together in community.
Yes. To
talk about that kind of stuff. You ever seen the movie Sweetland?
No.
Dude, it's one of my favorites. Check it out.
I'm more of a Sweatland than a Sweetland.
It's a mail-in bride that this guy gets after World War I.
I have seen this movie. It's very. Is Nicole Kidman in it?
No.
That I haven't seen it.
But she's from Germany instead of Norway, and the rural town in Minnesota is up in arms. Like she can't be you can't have a German wife here. Like World War I's happening. This is anti-God.
Yeah.
One guy's like, Martin Luther was German. Anyways, good story.
Diet of worms.
I was gonna say something else. Unless you have anything else to give me time to think. Yes.
I have a lot of thoughts. What I was thinking about the movie is I told my wife yesterday there's a Nicole Kidman movie where she's a mail order bride, but I don't think.
I think you're thinking of this movie.
I'm not. Like Nicole Kidman turns around and like murders someone, I think, or her family comes in and murders people.
What?
Yeah. Someone correct me.
Hey, you know what I say? No, thank you.
That's why I don't do mail order grooms or brides. Does that give you enough time to remember what you're going to say?
No, it doesn't. We were talking about
men.
Yeah, so churches are places. I remember there was a billboard up on a building by our house that was like, check out a Jewish synagogue. Come to meet your wife, but stay for there's no heaven or something like that. But it was a big selling point was like, or there's no hell. We don't believe in hell, and you can meet your wife here. It was like I mean, it was kind of tongue in cheek, but like explicitly, like this is why Judaism could be worth it because you can meet a Jewish girl here. Yeah. And I think that's true about the church. We had a lot of young people come to the church I worked at. Like 1A, the reason being to meet someone.
I had someone in my car, and
I'm not blaming them because that's where I met my wife.
Dude, this is great. I had a guy in my Uber who was going to go pick up an $8,000 dog, right, out in Cloquet area, and we were talking about spirituality. He's Catholic. He goes, I used to go to evangelical church because there was some smoke shows there.
Yeah, there was.
And the smoke shows don't go to the Catholic church. They all went to. He called it one of those born again churches. He goes, I went to the born again churches. I'm like, yeah, man.
Yeah, it's problematic. And then this is another episode, just have no framework for single people beyond 30 years old.
Beyond 20 years old. God, do you remember anyone who's listening to this who's been in church are like, hey, you guys want to join the singles group? We're like, oh, so like the two 50-year-old men who never got married are going to show up?
That's like a case study in, we want to invite everybody to this, but the people that show up, we're going to have to ask them to leave after a couple weeks.
It's like you aged out.
Oh, my God. But full circle, I think that's where people go to mega churches because I do think it's like the best show in town. It is positive. Is awesome. They get coffee and donuts. They probably have to pay for them now. Am I right?
No.
I think some mega churches make you pay for coffee.
Well, if it's espresso, drip coffee.
Your old buddy Bill was doing espresso shots one time. I visited a mega church in the cities.
He just texted me out of nowhere.
Really?
Yeah, it was great.
The one that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah. Not Bill Whitehaven. No.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bill in Australia.
Hey, Bill, you got that $20 you owe me, baby?
I said no to be in Bill's wedding.
Did you really?
Because he's like, you have to rent a tux. I'm like, I don't have $150. He's like, you have to. So I said, I'm not coming to your wedding.
Dang.
Yeah.
I kind of get his point, though.
No.
You could have attended.
No, did I?
There's no way it was a black tie wedding.
Actually, no. I think I went to the wedding, and I was in charge of, like, the guest book. Is that a thing? It was some bullshit
thing.
You
had to open it and put a pen next to it?
He gave me a job because he was in my wedding. God, that whole, like, do you have to include... That is the next episode. Wedding etiquette.
Sure.
And shit my pastor said.
How many weddings have you done?
140?
Really?
150? Mm-hmm.
Damn.
It's a lot.
I've done maybe 25.
It's a little less than me.
The second wedding I ever did, they did not go to our church. They lied about their sister going to our church, which was not true.
I like it.
It was super weird. And then their mom, 6 months after their wedding, I'd been let go from the church. A year after I got let go from the church, contacted me. Because right before I got let go, I said, yeah, maybe I'll do your wedding.
Yeah.
When is it? She's like, it's in a year. I'm like, okay, talk to me in 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, why we... And then in that meantime, I got let go from the church. and I had to tell her, like, I'm not going to do your wedding. I could give two shits. And
Yeah.
she was so pissed at me. It was her third wedding, and she was like 60 years old. I'm like, you're booking a pastor a year in advance
Yeah, I like this.
for your third wedding?
Hey, every wedding
That's
is like the
against
first one. Man.
etiquette, in my
Feels
opinion.
like so we really will do an entire episode just on weddings because that's a lot of shit pastors have said. I can think of 4 stories.
I can think of some good ones.
Yeah, the pie one.
The pie one?
Jillian's wedding.
I don't remember the pie one.
God, yes, we do. You made a pie. You won the pie contest at Jillian's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a salvation call.
I
and
do remember
no one
that.
did anything. It was super fucking awkward.
Yikes.
Yeah. Spiritual trauma and weddings. God, that would be really good.
All right.
But back to mega churches. Do you have anything else you want to say on Christian nationalism?
No, I think that, I mean, there's a lot to say, but I think that's a good place.
So good resources is Jesus and John Wayne.
Yeah, I got to read that.
Oh, dude, it's Kristen Demuez, Demuez, I believe. It's so, and she's done hundreds of interviews that are on YouTube. She's the real deal, man.
If you're into listening to sermons, I don't know how well this holds up from other stuff.
Greg's,
but there's Greg Boyd has a sermon series called The Cross and the Sword, or maybe The Sword and the Cross.
It's the flag and the cross, or the cross and the sword.
It's the cross and the sword,
because
it's all about
it's a 4-part thing.
Constantine took the cross of self-sacrificial love and turned it upside down.
Dude, it's
into
so
a sword.
good. That's
even that image is like, holy shit.
Woodland Hills Church.
Yeah.
So
and his book, Myth of a Christian Nation.
It's fine. The Letters from Babylon, Brian Zahn's very much on the same aspect about anti-imperialism. But I'd say if you need a book, Jesus and John Wayne is by far the best one of Christian nationalism.
Sweet, I'll check it out. I want to ask you this. Do you know any resources or thoughts on, like, if the Founding Fathers were actually Christians? Because that's like, people say that all the time, but I'm like, is this from National Treasure? Is this Nick Cage saying that?
Dude, you stole my touchdown call. I was like, you heard my friend Nick Cage? I'm on this rant. My family hates that movie, and I love that movie.
I think it's great.
I just watched it last week by myself.
Fun summer thriller.
Dude, it was great. I got a little high.
But were they
great.
Christians?
They don't know. They were
Masons.
Masons, yeah. No, there were some Christians. Like, you want to know, like, you want to do a good deep dive, is look at Ben Franklin's Bible.
Yeah, these guys talked about it. They're like, this guy read the Bible in Greek, Latin. That means that this is a Christian nation.
Yeah.
He had 2 bookshelves of scripture.
He did, but so the idea that he wrote it, like, their argument is he wrote it and took the Gospels out to be a witness to indigenous people is the whole argument. Because it says on there for blah, blah, blah in indigenous people, or a different term for it. But it's not true at all. It's like one line. He took it out because he didn't believe in it.
Wow.
Yeah. So no, it's not Christian. There's no mention
They
of
need
God.
the Christian fathers to be Christian, or they
need the founding fathers to be Christian. Now, they were Puritans, and there was some influence of Christianity, of course, but it was intentionally left out because they wanted freedom of everything.
Yeah. These guys said the tree trunk of America is Christian, and we allow nests in branches for Judaism and Catholicism. I was like, oh shit, these guys are way down. It's like Protestant.
But again, you can make that claim because we're 250 years removed, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to fight? Who can fight against that?
Yeah, historians at some university
but
that
again,
they're
it's
trying to
all
defund.
theory.
Yeah.
Because those stories all those people are dead. So you can make up any shit you want. It's like saying our great grandpa really loved skiing, and that's why I love skiing. It's like you're just making a story to make yourself feel better.
But there is something to, like, beyond the Founding Fathers, early colonies and states were super Christian.
Some of them were, yeah.
Yeah.
But religion is
And again,
around
I'm basing
forever.
this on morality that was tied to being a Christian.
Yeah.
Early states having morality laws and stuff like that, to them, is evidence that Founding Fathers or this country was Christian.
And again, I would say in a time where survival is the utmost importance, your morality is going to limit behavior that could hurt the clan or the tribe or so you should have they're going to have really strict rules of where you can and can't go and what you can or can't do for the betterment of the group.
It's the same reason that the laws of the Old Testament were in place, because hey, guess what? If you don't eat certain foods, you probably will be healthier in this time and place to keep you healthy.
One of my professors talked about religion came out of saying, stay by the fire because demons are out there. So it's like God is protecting us. The sun God is giving us wheat. Oh, imagine that. So we're going to do whatever we can to get favors of this. So it's the idea of drawing the straight line of they were Puritans or Presbyterians or whatever the fuck they were, and now we have to be the same. Dude, we've evolved so much.
Yeah.
And we should. And I hope in 250 years or in 50 years what our kids are talking about, I hope we've progressed. And I think we will. Mainly because of this podcast.
Yeah. Send shrooms.
And send shrooms. Send that like button, send shrooms.
All right. Thanks, everybody.